Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you are always in good health. Well everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Nurfaizah, and in this video, I will tell you about the story of Queen Victoria. Okay, let's watch my video and happy watching. On the 24th of May 1819, a little princess was born at Kensington Palace in London. Her name was Alexandrina Victoria. She was the daughter of the Duke of Kent, King William's brother, and a German princess, Victoria of Saxe-Coburg. Victoria's father died when she was a baby, so she became fatherless since childhood. Her childhood was lonely and dull. She grew up with her mother and strict German Baroness Lezen. Her mother is a protective person, so she rarely leaves the house. She likes play with dolls, and she also loved animals. She had 3 pets, namely a dog called Dash, a canary, and a parakeet. And her hobbies are singing and dancing. She had private lessons in many subjects from 9:30 in the morning to 6 in the evening. At the age of 12, she felt herself closer to the throne and felt herself well. When Victoria was 13 years old, her mother decided that she should see England and that the British people should see her. Then she traveled to Wales, Yorkshire, Midlands, and the Short Coast. And this journey is part of education. Victoria wrote about her journey in her diary. And Victoria's 17th birthday, her German cousin named Albert came to visit her. Her mother thought Prince Albert was the ideal husband, and then Victoria agreed. On the 20th June 1837, Victoria received news that King William IV died that night and that was she began to become queen. She was only 18 and knew very little about government or politics. When she lived at Buckingham Palace away from the strict control for her mother, and she was assisted by Lord Melbourne, a prime minister who taught Victoria about politics. In 1839, Victoria's cousin Albert visited her again, and Victoria allows Albert with all her heart. In 1840, Victoria and Albert got married. When they were married, Albert always helped Victoria with her government. In November 1840, they had the first child, and in 1841, Albert Edward, Prince of Wales, was born. Between 1840 and 1847, Victoria and Albert had 9 children, 4 sons and 5 daughters. And Victoria and Albert devoted parents and spent a lot of time with their children. In 1847, they bought a house in Scotland, a paramount castle surrounded by green hills and forest. Victoria liked the place because the air was fresh and clean, and Albert loved hunting and fish catching. In the 19th century, poverty was a huge problem in England. Working people have very difficult life. Adults and children work long hours in a factories in dangerous condition. To overcome this problem, the government limits the 10 hours women and children can work in a day, and the government also makes laws to deal with it. On the 1st of May 1851, Queen Victoria opened the Great Exhibition at the Crystal Palace in London. This show is a beautiful show. The Crystal Palace was truly a spectacle made of iron and glass and as large as 4 football fields. A visitor came in about 6 million in 140 days, and it was a successful show. In the 1850s, there were wars and rebellions in Europe, and the British and Asian armies were fighting. There is a criminal war in the Black Sea. The criminal war is the first war that photographs for the first time, and the war photos show painfully tragic spectacle. Victoria was very unhappy because soldiers suffered. Because of the many victims who were injured, Victoria set up a hospital. After the war, Victoria opened a school for nurses in London, and this was a beginning of modern nursing. When the criminal war ended in 1856, Victoria dedicated a special medal to the courage of the soldier. The medal is called the Victoria Cross. On the 14th December 1861, Albert died of typhoid fever, and at that time, Victoria was devastated that Albert had left in her life. In her sadness and misery, Victoria became a recluse for 13 years. She refused to appear in a public and go to privy council meetings. On the 30th of June 1887, Victoria celebrated her 50 years as queen. The following days, she rode to London and an open carriage for the spectacular Golden Jubilee celebration. Victoria was very fond of music and liked singing arias from the comic operas for Clifford and Sullivan. When there is a big celebration, Victoria attends the event, but she feels sad and lonely. I sat alone. She wrote, "Oh, without my beloved husband." On that day, Victoria pressed a button to send a telegraph message around the empire. From my heart, I thank my beloved people. My God bless them. In 1899, the British Empire was the biggest empire in the world. It conquered 1/5 of the Earth's land area with 370 million people. On the 2nd of January 1901, Victoria died at the age of 82 at Osborne House. Thousands of people wept during her funeral procession. She was considered the mother of the British Empire. She was buried beside her beloved Albert at Frogmore near Windsor. Well, that is all my video about the story of the Queen Victoria. I'm sorry if I make mistake in my words or in my pronunciation. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.